All right, guys. My name is Jonathan Deaton. Welcome back to the Country Roots Show. I'm with Kevin Thomas today. He is an outlaw country artist who's bringing back the raw, real, and gritty sound we all love. Kevin, man, thanks for joining us. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, brother. How about you?
Oh, can't complain. Can't complain. Let's dive in it. So you're out of Kentucky, correct?
I sure am.
Yeah, man. There seems to be a lot of great country artists all around the country, but it seems to be there's some unfound talent in Kentucky, and I know you've been blowing up this year on the charts. So I'm excited to talk with you today. Let's kind of get into it. I know me and you've talked a little bit back and forth, and your schedule this year has been crazy, man. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, man. This year, since going viral and stuff on social media, this year's been pretty wild. I've got to open for Shenandoah. I've been playing a lot of private shows in different states. Been flying out all over the country. Went on tour in Oklahoma, Arkansas. I've got some shows in Florida this year, and Texas. So yeah, man, we're just all over the place. And I'm very grateful, very blessed to be able to do this. And we've been making some good money this year for the first time. So that's that's that helps a whole lot. When it comes to doing this for a living and stuff, and being able, the more money I can make, the more I can put into my music. The better shows I can put on for people and things like that. So yeah, man, it's been a wild schedule, and this coming year is gonna be. It's already shaping up to be even wilder. So
Man, I mean, tell me a little bit about that opening up for Shenandoah. I mean, obviously they've been a music icon for years. I love their music. What was that like?
yeah, man. Marty, the lead singer, the whole band was just great guys. They was all awesome. Man, it was awesome. It was my first. It was my first pinch me moment, I guess. We had, I don't know, several hundreds of people there, if not close to 1,000 mark of people there at that show. And man, it was just one of those pinch me moments. They introduced me for the first time coming on stage, and everybody there went crazy, almost like I was the headliner, kind of. And it's kind of wild. Which there was a lot of people there to see me. Um, I found out later on after the show, but you know it was just a pinch me moment, man. I got to open for legends like that. And Marty come up to me after the show, and he said, Kevin, he said, I just want to tell you it was a pleasure working with you. He's very professional, uh, and I look forward to the next time. And as an artist that's never really opened for anybody and stuff like that, to have a guy that's been there, done that, to come up and give you those words of compliment, it makes you feel like you're doing something right, you know. And so, man, it was just an experience, and I'm very, 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 very grateful to have that opportunity, and to meet those guys, and to meet all the people. That's what it's about, the people. So it's great to have them come up to me after the show. Obviously I didn't have a line like Marty did at the end of the show, but about every third or fourth person would come out of that line and come see me after they met with him, and wanted my autograph, wanted to take a picture, wanted to buy some merch. So it was a very humbling and grateful experience, and it's one of those memories that I always hold dear, because to me that was like the first moment where I looked at myself, and it was just surreal, where I was like, man, I'm really doing this shit. So you know, it was awesome. I can't talk about it enough.
And I mean, you're starting to get recognized more. I mean, I know I saw your excitement. I think it was a week or two ago where Kid Rock had followed you on social media.
Yeah.
You start getting those recognized and talked to by different people. It kind of makes you feel good. Like, damn man, I'm doing the damn thing now.
Yeah, yeah, man. We got recognized, or Kid Rock started following us. A R&B artist, big R&B artist named K Michelle. I don't know if you know who that is or not. Um, she's pretty big. I think she's got like 20 something million followers or something across all platforms, and she's been around for a long time. Since probably the '80s, I guess, playing doing R&B and stuff. And she actually texted me, messaged me on Instagram yesterday, and told me she loved my music. So that's kind of crazy. And it's just I've got a lot of people that I would consider is these A+ celebrities, that are really 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 well known in what they do. That's been following me and hitting me up and letting me know to keep pushing because they like my stuff and they can see me going somewheres. And that, I tell people all the time, this is how you know you got it. You don't have to go around telling people you got it. People will come to you and say you got it. And that's how you know you got it. If you got to go around and tell people what you do all the time, you might not have it. So just keep that in mind. That's what I tell people all the time. You ain't going to have to tell people who you are. They'll come and tell you who you are. They'll come and let you know who you are. So,
Yeah, well said. And I know, talking about artists that, kind of been recognizing you and that you've been getting to meet. Tell me a little bit about the artists that you grew up on that's kind of inspired you to take your music road down.
yeah, I tell this story at every show that I play. Here, one of the big full circle moments for me that got to happen this year was I got to record my own version of "Good Old Boys" by Waylon, the Dukes of Hazzard song, and that that's a full circle moment for me because I remember as Waylon was one of the first artists that I remember, listening to growing up and thinking, man, that dude's the coolest dude in coolest dude in the world, And Dukes of Hazzard's from that. My mom would always watch the Walker Texas Ranger. She'd watch Dukes of Hazzard, all those shows and stuff. And I remember every Saturday morning she'd put me in the living room in the floor, and I'd get to sit there in front of that old box TV with the built-in VHS player in it, and she'd put that VHS in, and it was the Dukes of Hazzard. It might have been the same episode every week. I didn't care though. I just sat there and watched it, and I enjoyed it. And I remember seeing that silhouette of a man playing that Telecaster guitar, you know, and singing "Just the Good Old Boys,"
Mhm.
and man, it started my love for music. Everything. It started everything. So I picked up a guitar and learned to play it, and first song I ever learned to play on it was "Good Old Boys," and I got to record that this year and put it out, and so it's a big full circle moment for me.
Well, and I feel like too every time talking about Walker Texas Ranger and that stuff, and that was one of my favorite shows. And Dukes of Hazards, who doesn't love them? And I feel like every time you hear that song, it kind of just puts a smile on your face because you're getting to relive a time where that was good prime time. Whether you're seeing it on TV or watching the movie, whatever it may be, that was exciting. Talking about outlaw country, it's always been about authenticity, how you feel, telling the truth, not caring what other people. Whew, that just scared me. That was a fighter jet just flew over top. I thought my
Yeah, I
life.
heard that.
I didn't know what that was. All right, back to business. Outlaw country, obviously, like we've been talking about, it's all about how you feel, telling the truth, telling what's on your mind, not giving a damn what other people think. When you're writing songs or collaborating with different artists or writers, what kind of goes into that field of obviously it ain't about what other people are telling you. It's about clearly what you think, what's on your mind. It's a storytelling behind the songs. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, man. I mean, the way I approach music and approach writing is, you know, I'm not out here to try to make it this big intricate thing where you got to say something three times but different ways. You know, I go into writing as three chords and the truth, man. I mean, that's just simple as it. You know, pick a pick some more. You know, pick a melody, pick a some chords, make it simple, put some simple lyrics to it that the common man can understand, and more importantly, do things my way and the way I want to do it. You know, um, that's outlaw. That's what outlaw is. Is it's not a sound. It's not a one person. It's the way you decide to do things. You do things on your own accord. You do things the way you want to do it. You live life the way you want to live it, and you don't give a damn what people have to say about it. And that's outlaw. That's what outlaw country is. Outlaw country originated through Waylon Jennings to an extent for the fact that Waylon wanted to, uh, when he went in the studio, his label he was signed to, I think it's RCA was who he signed to. RCA was like, all right, let's add this, let's add that to it, let's add this to it. And before you know it, you had 8 or 9 instruments on one track. And Waylon said, if I can't replicate it on stage with my 4-piece band, then I don't want to record it. And so he didn't want to record it with all this other instrumentation that he didn't have on stage. He wanted the people to have the same show live as they got on the recording. And that was his stance on it, and he stood by that. And that's what considered him the Outlaws. He stood by his stance. And I don't think you got to sound like Waylon Jennings. I don't think you got to sound like Willie Nelson. You ain't got to sound like David Alcoa. Hell, you ain't got to sing traditional country to be an outlaw. But what you got to do is you got to do things your way and only your way, and don't give a damn what other people have to say about it. That's outlaw country, man.
Yeah, and I mean, you have some songs that I mean really hit deep. I mean, it's a mix of rebellion, it's a mix of truth, it's a mix of real life stories. I mean, what kind of inspires your songwriting? I mean, I know we've talked about some stuff about your past and stuff, but I mean, just going into forward. I mean, it was. I know you released that song, well, you may have not have just released it. It might have been out for a while, but when Charlie Kirk passed away, you reposted that song out and stuff, and whether it's world events or just real life story. I mean, what goes into writing those songs? I mean, I think it comes from the heart and how you're feeling on a day to day basis.
Well, I think the song you're talking about is "Don't Tread on Me."
Yep, that's it.
Uh, First and foremost, let's be known, I didn't write that song.
Okay.
That was a song that was wrote by Drake White and uh, Channing Wilson. They'd wrote that song 13, 14 years ago. So that goes to show you how long shit's been wrong. Shit's been bad. It just took the last 8 years to where people were really like, okay, shit, like we're in some deep shit. Uh, but it's been going on for a long time, and people have been writing songs like "Don't Tread on Me" for 25 years. So it's been spiraling for a long time. But they wrote that song 13, 14 years ago, and I become really good friends with Channing Wilson. If you don't know who Channing Wilson is probably one of the biggest writers in Nashville today. He's wrote "She Got the Best of Me" for Luke Combs, pretty much a shit ton of Luke Combs songs. Riley Green, uh, you name it, he's wrote a song for him. And Drake White is also another artist that you wouldn't expect if you heard his stuff. You wouldn't expect that he wrote that song. You wouldn't think that's who wrote that, but yeah, those two boys wrote that. Sent it over to me. Uh, I knew right then when I heard it, I had to cut it. So I cut the song, but we cut the song months in advance before Charlie Kirk had passed away. And we had a release date on that Tuesday to come out already planned out. And it just happened that Charlie Kirk had lost his life the Thursday before, and it just happened my song come out that Tuesday after, and it just a lot of people took it as a Charlie Kirk song, more so than what I was trying to relay. I'd got word from across the country that they had a lot of these, what they call, I guess, Charlie Kirk memorials or whatever, where they had events where people would come out and they'd have candle vigils and stuff. And they'd been people sending me videos and stuff of my song "Don't Tread on Me" being played as the
Wow.
opening song to the event and stuff like that. And I I'm glad and I'm very grateful for my song to have a cause like that. You know, I don't really believe in politics, but you don't have to believe in politics to know that a man got killed because of what he believed in. JFK, Martin Luther King, all those guys got killed for what they believe in, regardless if you agree with what they said or not. An innocent man got killed because of what he believed in, and that's not right. Uh, and and so I'm honored that people want to use my song to give, I guess, memory and stuff. But the song's been true for 25 years plus. Song's been true for a long time. It just took Charlie Kirk passing for people to open their eyes and actually listen, open their eyes and see, open their ears and listen. So, you know, yeah. So I mean, going into the writing process of that stuff, I didn't write "Don't Tread on Me," but it is definitely a Kevin Thomas song. It's definitely the stuff that I write. I just write about the stuff that I feel. I get a lot of hate on social media, but anybody with recognition does. You're going to no matter what. Um, and so, yeah, I just write what I'm feeling. Some days I wake up mad. Some days I wake up sad. Some days I wake up happy. Some days I want to go party. Some days I want to lay in bed. And when the inspiration hits, that's what I do, man. I just pick up a damn my phone, go to my notes, pick up a guitar, and write about what I'm feeling and or what I want to do to that day. And then sometimes I have co-writes where I sit down with people and they inspire a feeling or they inspire a lyric or something, and we just go from there and just start writing, man. I mean, you know, just wrote a song today with a good buddy named Randy Barber called "Drink Alone," and it's a sad old country song, and I wrote another one. Just finished one today with him as well, right before this podcast. It's called "Hello, I'm Country Music," and it digs into the roots of. It's more of an upbeat party song, kind of, but it digs into the roots of what country music is. The chorus is from the back seat of Hank's Cadillac to doing time with the man in black. I'm every note of every Waylon song. You know, like that's country music, man.
Mhm.
There was country music in the back of Hank Williams' Cadillac when he died. There's country music ringing through the walls of Folsom Prison when Johnny Cash was singing Folsom Prison Blues. Country Waylon Jennings is the epitome of country music. It's and it's just called "Hello, I'm Country Music." That's the name of the song, and I just that's they just come in. The inspiration comes from everywhere. Life, man. Sometimes I get inspired. I wrote a song called "Who I Am," and it's an unreleased song, and I don't know if I ever release it because it comes from a dark time in my life. But a song called "Who I Am," and it was inspired by a damn fly on the wall. The opening line of that song is, "There's a fly on the wall that's heard everything I've said and done." You know, or a fly on the wall that's seen everything I've said and done. you know, and it goes in, and that song talks about not being the best husband, not being the best person in the world. You know, I could have done better here, I could have done better there, but at the end, it don't really matter because I can apologize and I can feel sorry for myself and feel sorry for that person as much as I want. But at the end of the day, it's who I am.
Well, the thing that I like too about your music and others that kind of cover the same tracks and same line of music, it's authentic storytelling. It's some stuff that people can relate to. I know we've talked about when a grown man can come up to you and cry and say your music's changed your life. I mean, that touches you as an artist, and it's like, hey man, my music's getting out there, it's reaching people, and that's kind of what it's all about. It's not all about making money all the time. You're if hey, I mean, you might have people come up to you and say music's done saved my life.
Yeah, and I have, I've had, one of my biggest I guess one story that sticks out to me the most, uh, and to this day, I'm still speechless because I don't know. I didn't know really what to say at that moment in time. Um, and I don't really know if I had to say anything at that moment in time. I don't think that was a moment in life where I had to say anything. I think actions spoke louder than words at that moment. And I have a song I call "Wither Away," and there was this woman in the front row that kept requesting it, and I was up on this big stage, and she kept saying, she kept hollering, "Wither away, wither away." Well, "Wither Away" is not a song that's really in my set list anymore. It's an old song. It's one of the first songs I ever released. It's not really a song. When I play shows, I try to keep it very lively. I try to keep it upbeat as much as possible. I want the people to be on a roller coaster. I want them to I want to get real serious at moments, but then I want them to have a good time, raise their glass, and raise hell. Uh, but this woman kept requesting it. I finally done it, and there was this man sitting in the front row, or standing in the front row, and maybe three people beside her or whatever. And he was an old man, but he looked like a man that was tough as leather. This dude don't shed a tear. Okay, he don't cry. This dude don't cry. He's one of those guys you look at. He don't cry. Um, and he had a biker vest on and had tattoos all over him that he probably got back in the war. I'm guessing he's probably a veteran at one point in time. Like I said, me and him didn't talk much. Um, but at the end of the show, he stood there and he sat there and he just watched me the whole time as I sang that song. At the end of my show, he came up to my merch table and he came up to me and he shook my hand and he said, "Man," he said, "I appreciate all you do." And then he come in to give me, we shaking hands, and he pulled me in for a hug, like a side hug or whatever. And he pulled me in, and I tapped him on the back, and that man started bawling on my shoulder, just bawling. I mean, uncontrollably bawling. And I'm sitting there, and I'm holding him, and I'm thinking, what in the hell? Like, what do I do here? Like, as obviously, it damn makes you don't. It makes you want to cry because you're seeing a man that you can just tell by looking at this feller, he ain't never vulnerable. And he's sitting here in front of 800 people being vulnerable. That in itself will make a damn grown man cry. And I'm standing there and he's bawling on my shoulder. What do you do? What do you say? At that moment in time, I don't think there's anything you can say. Not as an artist. And then when he looks up at you with tears in his eyes, he said, "Man, that song Wither Away is my life." Right there, I mean, there ain't nothing you can say. Well, you're speechless, and like I said, even today I'm still speechless thinking about that moment because it's just something, and it's you know my passion. I tell people all the time, my passion ain't performing. My passion ain't music, and people look at me and like, what music ain't your passion? I love music, but it ain't what I look forward to every night when I'm playing music. What I look forward to is standing next to that merch table and shaking somebody's hand, and they look at me and they say, "Man, I love your music. Your music's, changed my life. Your music's done this. Your music's done that." You know, that is my passion. The people, getting to know the people, getting to hear their stories, getting to hear where they heard me for the first time, getting to hear what music's done for them in their life. You know, then that's the passion. That is my passion. That's what if I could fast forward through playing the music, if I could fast forward through playing the show and just get to that spot and live that part of my life, I'd do it every time. That's my passion.
Well,
Is the people.
I think that right there. I mean, that just says who you are as an artist. I think there's some people out there that they let the money and the fame get the best of them. They don't take that time to recognize the fan, and it's in and out, back to the bus, back to the plane, or whatnot. And people kind of see that, and I think especially in today's time, you take a few minutes out of your day after a show, greet people, listen to their stories, meet people, and kind of understand what they're thinking on a daily basis. I think it just grows your fan base, man. It speaks a lot to that's the kind of person you are. So that's great.
Yeah, I mean, I get both sides of it. I understand, like, when you're touring, 200 something dates a year, you know, dude, getting off the stage, you just want to go back to the bus sometimes. I mean, hell, there's times I get off stage and the first thing I want to do is go to my car and leave, but I don't. I go and make sure that I'm standing at my merch table. I make sure I shake everybody's hand. I make sure that they know that I'm just one of you. I just, the only difference in me and you is you might make your living swinging a hammer or twisting a wrench, but I make mine playing a guitar and singing for everybody else. That's the only difference in me and you is how I make my living and how you make yours. Because we're more, no, especially in this day and age, everybody's so caught up in politics and what you believe ain't what I believe. I hate you because you believe this. They hate me because of what I believe. They hate the way I look because I'm white, or you know, somebody hates them because they're brown. All this shit. None of that shit matters, man. We're all more alike than we are different. We're all humans, and if people would get back to being human first, dude, this world would be so much better of a place.
Amen.
But they're not going to because everybody wants conflict. Everybody wants to divide, and and that's kind of that song. Don't tread on me. Left wing, right wing. Hell, it's all the same thing. That's exactly what that means. It's all to divide. It's all to keep us all from doing what we can do if we stand together. Be human first. And I think going out and socializing with your fans, your supporters, hell, I don't even really call them fans. I call them my supporters because I don't feel right calling people fans because that kind of implies that they look at me as being a bigger person than them, or that implies that they are looking at me as being better than them, or they're wanting to be me. And I don't want that. I just want them to know, hey, uh, you know, John Conley said, I'm a common man, drive a common van. You know, like that's what I want them to know, is I ain't no different than you, man. All I do is might have a pretty singing voice and write decent music and make my living picking on a guitar and singing. That's the only difference, you know. And so
Well,
that's all I want them to know. So they're my supporters. They allow me to be able to do my job.
and
You
people
know.
relate to that stuff, man. I mean, I grew up, and I still am. I grew up as a big WWE fan. Growing up, you had Dusty Rhodes, and I mean, one of his songs when he came out, it was "Hey, I'm just a common man," and he talked about a plumber and blue collar work and stuff like that. It's relating to the same lifestyle that people are doing, just saying, "Hey, I'm just like you, except I'm on TV or I'm up on the stage. We do the same thing. We have the same interests." It's sparks people's attention. But let's change gears a little bit. We're going to be. I mean, you've been touring around. I've been following you a little bit, seeing you're been going out west and did some shows. But next year, you're going all the way across the ocean and playing in a different country. Talk about that a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah. So I'll be gone about a month, a little over a month. Uh, I'll be in the UK touring in Scotland over there. Um, yeah, this nonprofit called For the Love of Appalachia. Um, I've become really good friends with a lot of those people that are involved in that. Uh, and one of the founders of that live in the UK, and their goal is to bring Appalachian artists or I guess, people in our region, and pretty much bring talent over to the UK across the pond, because they don't have a country. There's not a country scene really over there as much. It's more of like rock and pop. I mean, that's kind of where, you know, like the Rolling Stones, all that stuff kind of originated. It was kind of over across seas over there, like it's pop and rock and roll. So they're more toned to that. Country originated here in the States. So like we're more toned to the country side of things, right? um, and stuff like that. So it's kind of the same way, but opposite with them is with rock and pop. So they want to introduce country music and authentic songwriting and things like that to over there, because a lot of it's covers bands over there. There's not a lot of original artists around there. So they want to introduce that. So what they do is they sponsor me and they want to bring me on tour over there. Now my tour's a lot longer than most people. Most people go over there for about a week and a half and tour and do that, but because of my following and because of the stuff I've got going on, they've been able to book out a month plus of shows. So they're able to get me into a lot more bigger venues, a lot of some festivals that are going on around that time, things like that. So they've been able to get me into bigger venues, bigger festivals, things like that. And because of my following and because of where I'm at on the what I would call the ladder, of where I'm able to charge a lot more than a lot of the other artists that come over, because I'm playing bigger venues and bigger festivals. They got more of a budget to be able to pay, so I'm able to charge a lot more, which helps me be able to stay longer. So I'm able to stay over there for, like I said, a little over a month, and that's kind of what I'll be doing. So I'll be touring over there. I don't know any venues or date. I just know when I'm going over there and when I'm coming back, and the stuff in between. I have no idea right now. I've got a booking agent over there, Kat, that is dealing with all that and taking care of all that. She's taking care of all my hotels, Airbnbs, my chauffeur service that's going to be driving me around the UK, on top of them getting a vehicle to provide to drive me all over the place. And she's providing while booking my shows, and acting almost as my manager while I'm over there, making sure I get paid when I'm supposed to get paid, and do all. They pretty much is they bring the artist over there and they take away all the stress of what I do over here, so that I just go over there. I make sure they feed me, they house me, they make sure they treat me like royalty for a month, a little over a month, and all I do is go play my four shows a week, and I go play my 4 shows a week, sell my merch, hang out with my UK supporters, and yeah, man, just have a good time and have a big old vacation while I'm on tour over there.
Well, my next question was going to be, what are you looking forward to most over there? But it sounds like you kind of just hit it on there. But I mean, you're getting to see a new group of people, a new change of scenery. I mean, is there anything else that you didn't just highlight on there that you'll be looking forward to when you go over there?
You know, this ain't really what I'm looking forward to, but I do want to address this. Uh, I've been getting a little bit of hate because of me going to tour the UK, and people are like, "Well, you need to tour your home country before you go and tour, you know, over there in so and so country." And I'm like, you know, like this is an opportunity that's presented to me. I'm gonna go play anywhere as I can, and if they want to pay me a good amount of money to go do it, I'm gonna go do it.
Yeah.
That's just business 101. You know, and there's people over there like it's almost like having the you having two kids. One's a spoiled brat, and the other one is grateful for everything. Well, there's people in the UK are so grateful to have people coming over and playing music because they don't get that every day. And then you got people over here as there's a lot of people over here that's so spoiled to talent and so spoiled to country music that they want to go out and complain about everything when it comes to it. Uh, It almost is like that saying, "You don't know what you got until you lost it," kind of thing. What? How many people would just absolutely just freaking flip shit if country music stopped existing in the United States? There wouldn't be no country music because other countries don't have country music. That's what people don't understand. Australia don't have no country music hardly. They bring all their talent from the states over there. All these other countries are bringing their talent from the states. So I wanted to touch on that. It's like, you know, I'm going to tour the United States. This is where I live. I'm obviously going to be touring here. But if I get an opportunity to fly across seas and play music for people that don't ever get the opportunity to actually get country music, I'm going to do it every damn day of the week if I possibly could. Every opportunity I get, I'm going to take it. That's just how that is.
Yeah, I'd just be looking forward to the change of scenery a little bit and meeting new people.
Yeah,
And I'm sure the food will be different over there.
that
It
was,
could be the same, but I know when I vacationed a couple years ago and Mexico, is just kind of a culture shock for me when I changed because they don't put the different ingredients in different foods like we do here in the U.S. and it's kind of a cool experience to see different cultures.
yeah, I mean, I was going to say the food, but like being a fat dude, that's kind of what everybody expects me to say, so I didn't say it, but uh but no, yeah, man, there's a lot of things over there cool, man. Like the castles in Scotland are going to be really cool. A lot of people are so narrow-minded that they think the colony in the United States is old. But them castles have been standing thousands of years. You know what I mean? Like that's and I'm a history buff. I love it. There's three things I do. I play country music, I gamble, and I read on history and watch history documentaries. That's my three things in life that I absolutely love: history, gambling, and playing country music. Gambling don't help with playing country music because country music takes a lot of money to keep going, and gambling does too. So, and history don't pay me shit. So, uh, but so I like to indulge in history. I like to uh, watch a lot of history documentaries and stuff. So that's gonna be big for me going over there and getting to see the shit that I've read up on, the stuff I've watched on TV, and getting to see it with my own eyes and touch it and feel it and just getting to actually be there in history. That's gonna be cool for me.
Well, maybe the king over there will maybe he'll want to see one of your shows and you'll
I
get to
doubt
meet
it,
him.
bro. They're all about law and order, and a lot of my music's not about law and order, brother.
Well, I know you've talked about you got some big things coming. We've talked about this tour for next year in the UK and some different things. Can you tell us a little bit about any new music, any tours you got going on in the United States, or any projects that you're currently working on?
Yeah, so we're we're going. I'm going to the studio Monday to finish recording a couple songs. One of them being a cover. Um, I'm not gonna say what it is yet, but it's gonna be a little different. It's gonna be a little different than what everybody's so used to me doing. Uh, but it's a song that I always remembered as a kid. That I always got my blood going. I always remember sitting in the back seat, belting it out word for word. So we're gonna be doing that one. Um, I'm gonna be cutting that. Me and Creed Fisher are gonna be cutting a duet of outlaw shit together. So it's gonna be he's gonna be taking the lead vocals on it, and I'm gonna be singing the. It's gonna be a duet. We're gonna share the song, and we're gonna put that version of that song out. Hopefully this coming year, as well as cutting a music video for that as well. Me and him are. Uh,
And
and it
he's
ain't
he's been opening to that song at his shows, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So he's been playing that. Been playing my version of it before he walks out on stage. So, um, yeah, that's pretty cool. And if you check my Facebook out, and you'll see, I made a post, and he was wearing one of my merch shirts on stage the other night when I went to go hang out with him. He invited me up to Indianapolis, and I was out there and hung out with him on his bus and stuff, and we just, you know, shoot the bull and hung out and stuff, and talked over everything. Kind of talked over everything that's coming. and what our plans are with everything. And I know that he's wanting to bring me on tour, an extended tour with him next year. Um, it's not official yet; the dates haven't been published or anything, but um, I know he's wanting to bring me on as his full time opener on a lot of tours over there through the United States and things like that. But yeah, man. So between the UK tour and touring with Creed and the private parties that I've got booked next year, I mean, I've already pretty much got a full schedule for this coming year. So um, it's gonna be super busy, and it'll be my first year that I get to tour on a bus. So with Creed, so that's gonna be pretty cool. uh, and stuff. So, yeah, man. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other things that's going to pop up, between now and then that's, going to be cool and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get out myself to one of the shows and try and hang out with you a little bit and
Yeah, man.
see what's going on with your music. So, breaking it down to the conclusion, if someone's listening to Kevin Thomas for the first time today, what song should they start out with, and what should they know about you as an artist?
What songs should they start out with? Um, hmm. Probably, I think "Don't Tread on Me" would probably set a good mood for them. That'll let them know real quick, that I like to speak my mind. I don't hold my tongue. Don't care who it pisses off. Um, and let them know I'm pretty laid back. I'm not a do this, do that kind of thing. I'm pretty laid back, and as long as shit gets done, I'm okay with whatever. But I'm pretty easy to work with. I guess probably "Don't Tread on Me" would probably be that song,
Uh,
because if
two
they can handle, go ahead.
two of my favorite songs, like I said, are "Outlaw Shit" and "Three Chords in the Truth." I mean, where can everybody listen to it? I mean, you got Apple Music, obviously, Spotify, YouTube. Am I missing anything where people can look at it?
I mean, anywhere that you can stream music. I mean, you can find it Pandora, wherever. If you want to listen to it for free without getting a membership or whatever, YouTube's your friend. YouTube, you can find anything on YouTube under Kevin Thomas Official. You can go there, click releases, and it'll show you all my stuff. I got a bunch of singles out, and then I just dropped my EP. Don't tread on my EP is the title track of the EP is called "Don't Tread on Me," so you can go and listen to that EP and yeah, man. I think the EP really highlights who I am. It has all the songs. It has my six. It's got four of my biggest songs that people know me by, and then it's got two new songs: "Don't Tread on Me" and "Hang Me in the Morning." And "Hang Me in the Morning's a song I'd always wanted to really write. It's like a Western outlawish song. Tells a story of an old outlaw in the Wild West or whatever. Kind of like 310 to Yuma kind of thing. If you know that movie. So it's kind of something I've always wanted to write and would love to get it on a TV show about a Western or a movie. That'd be pretty cool.
And then you had, I see too, you had Ramblin' Fever just came out September 30th, correct?
Yeah, yeah. Merle Haggard's my favorite singer songwriter of all time. In my opinion, Merle Haggard is the king of country music. Merle Haggard has everything there is when it comes to qualify for that. And so I think Merle Haggard is the best to ever do it, at least so far. Um, he had the whole package. You know, um, he could play his guitar very well. When he got up on stage, he put on a down. He was an entertainer. He performed well. He had one of those voices that could just calm a rowdy honky tonk down to sit back, drink beer, and listen. And and his songwriting, his art is some of the best to ever be put into country music. He is the epitome of pulling at your heartstrings. With a lot of his stuff making you feel something, and regardless if that's happy, sad, crying, or dancing or whatever, he had all the songs. And when it comes to songwriting, he 92% of the songs he had out, he wrote. So that only leaves 7% of the songs that he put out that he didn't write. And they ain't no other artist that can say that.
With you just talking about that, if you could name the top five artists in country music to ever live, who would they be?
Merle Haggard, number one. Waylon Jennings. Um, let's see, Merle Haggard, Waylon Jennings. I'm gonna say Jamie Johnson. Um, that's my top three. I never really went to my top five. Um, hmm, Merle, Waylon, Jamie Johnson, and now I'm gonna go into the rider base. I'm gonna say Billy Joe Shaver, and then my last one's gonna be damn. I don't know. My last one will be I'm gonna say Joe Nichols.
Okay.
That's a curveball
Yeah.
because he was a big part of my childhood. It seemed like every time I turned the radio on growing up in the early 2000s, there was a Joe Nichols song on the radio.
Yeah,
And
you mentioned Jamie Johnson. I think he loves our area because I'm out of Roanoke, and he comes here pretty frequently down there at Dr. Pepper Park, as well as Aaron Lewis seems to love this area too. Those are two boys that are here very frequently.
well, I'll tell you a funny story real quick before we get off here. The other night when I was hanging out with Creed on his bus, uh, he'd said, "You'll never guess who called me earlier." And I said, "Who?" And he said, "Listen to this voicemail." And he played a voicemail and it said, "Hey Creed, this is Jamie Johnson." And Jamie Johnson had called Creed, Creed Fisher and stuff. And then yesterday I get a photo from Creed of him standing there with Ron White, Jamie Johnson, Randy Hauser, Chuck, which is Creed Fisher's bass player and right hand man. And they played a charity golf event together that Jamie invited him out for. And and so I thought that was pretty cool because Jamie Johnson's one of my biggest inspirations. It's also one of I can tell you right now, Creed Fisher's top three is the same as my top three. Let's put it that way. Merle Haggard, Waylon Jennings, Jamie Johnson. That's his top three. That's my top three. And so even for Creed, that's been doing it as long as he has. I could tell when he was talking to me. He said it's a wild experience when one of your heroes give you a call.
Yeah, Jamie Johnson's one hell of a talent. I don't think he gets recognized as much as he should.
Because
I
he got booted. He got put on a shelf, just like Creed has, and just like I will. We'll get put on a shelf, and that'll be the end of it. And we'll do what we do, and we'll make our money, and we'll make our music, and we'll have people that'll love us, and we'll have a lot of people that'll know us. But
yeah.
when it comes to the radio, don't look for my music on the radio. And guess what? Good riddance, because I don't want to be on the fucking radio. So.
Well, I would say that would be that is an interesting way to wrap things up. Kevin has over 102,000 monthly Spotify listeners, at least is what it says there. It could be more. on his end, over 600,000 monthly Apple Music streams, and he's all the way up to almost 60,000 followers on Facebook. Kevin, it's been a real pleasure having you today, man. I've enjoyed talking to you thoroughly. I know our listeners are going to love to dive into your music. My dad's already liked you on Facebook, and he's following your music. I think he shared one of your videos the other day. So,
Heck yeah,
um,
man.
I appreciate your time, and guys, check Kevin out on all social media. And until next time, this is the Country Roots Show with Jonathan Deaton. See y'all later.